All right, so welcome back to Second Take. I'm Naaman. We are missing John today. He is out at football practice. We kind of knew that would be a conflict coming into doing this podcast. And I'm joined with Scott Shewing, who became an internet sensation last night after, I'm sure, almost a month ago now, or a couple weeks ago at least, recorded with Aaron Rodgers asking him whose idea it was to kick that field goal in the NFC Championship game. So before we get into that, I wanted to ask a little bit about, because I watch Jeopardy almost every night. You know, I get my 4 questions right each night, and I'm like, oh, I'm a genius. uh, so how did that work? How did you decide that you were like, oh, this is something I really want to do. I want to go on this show because I know all this stuff.
Yeah, when I was in my 20s, I was even in my late teens, I was like, oh, I can get on Jeopardy whenever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And but life happens, and
Yeah.
you can write the test now whenever you want, but when I wrote it, it was once a year.
Yeah.
And when I kind of heard that Alex Trebek, his cancer diagnosis and everything, like
Mm-hmm.
I took
Yeah.
it very seriously trying to get on, and I did the
Yeah.
test in January of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote that. About a month later, they contacted me and said I'd passed. 2 weeks after that, they invited me in for another test. You got to get like 40 or 45 out of 50,
Yeah.
and you play a game with that's taped with buzzers and everything, and they interview you, and I think look for whatever they might be looking for from
Yeah.
someone who's on a television show.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 2 days, 3 days later, the entire city of Los Angeles shut down and went into lockdown for COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I didn't even know if Jeopardy was going to come back or what was going to go
Right.
on. And obviously Alex passed away.
Right.
And then in early January of this year, I got the call. I had 13 days to prepare if I still wanted to.
Yeah.
So I rushed home to learn everything in the world. And and the Aaron Rodgers episode, it taped on, I believe, February 17th.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was watching. He did an interview with the McAfee show yesterday, and I was watching. He was talking about how he filmed that, and he was like, "I'd love to host, do like play football and host at the same time because it's only X amount of days of recording." But I always thought, like, probably this is so embarrassing, but probably until I was like 10 or 11 years old, I always thought it was a live show. And I was like, how do they always get this perfect? Like, how does he never screw anything up? And then I realized it's actually all taped, and you can edit it and redo it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
first episode I did, I think it took an hour and a half
Yeah.
tape for 21 minutes of the show. Yeah, so much happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Questions get flubbed. Basically anyone in the studio can screw up somehow, and
Yeah.
especially contestants. So
Yeah.
yeah, but there was no studio audience or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And for this,
Yeah.
it was very heavy with the COVID protocols.
Mm-hmm.
And, so it was just a lot of people doing the best they could in a kind of a rough situation.
Yeah. So before we get to the moment, are you like? So I'm assuming you're a football fan. You watch football down in LA, or at least enough to know that Matt LaFleur probably should not have called that field goal. What's your favorite team, and why were you like, oh, this would be like something that's super funny for me to do?
Well, I mean, my favorite team often on Sundays will be who I have a little scratch invested on. And I may have had some the Packers money line that day.
Oh,
And yeah,
man.
definitely I know enough about who Matt LaFleur is and everything like that. And the question my response was more to Matt LaFleur. If I thought that Aaron at all wanted to kick that field goal, I never would have put it as an answer. The last thing I remember from that game was Rodgers giving a presser after an interview, and he was just destroyed. And and so that was in my mind. Like he was
broken.
He was trying to say the right things, but he had no energy, and he clearly didn't believe what he was saying. And that was like my last thing I remembered about Aaron Rodgers until I showed up on the lot that day. I didn't know that Aaron Rodgers was going to be the host until I got there.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's wild. Dude, yeah, you destroyed him. You could see, like, I was watching last night, and, like, obviously it cut to him, and he was just like, just
Yeah.
completely dumbfounded.
Yeah. When I was writing it down, people in the studio were laughing. And I didn't know until after the fact that people can see what you're writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said something about that yesterday. He was like, he saw you starting to write it, and then he was like, "Oh, I wonder what this is gonna be," because like it was so clear you were writing like a question in response to the question. He was like, "Oh, I wonder what this is gonna be," and then he was like, and then obviously he said it, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" And the poor guy. I mean, as you said, like in his presser after, he's coming out to the press now, and he's like, I mean, it wasn't my decision to kick the field goal." But you did it, and it was absolutely hilarious. I was busting a gut downstairs. Uh,
Well, I mean, it's the right question, right?
oh, for
Like,
sure.
so when it came to saying maybe something about football, it was the only one that I ever considered. It was the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, especially putting some dough on the Packers. As a Packers fan, I'm gonna give you a nice pro tip right here. Never bet on them to win an NFC Championship game. We've lost like 5 of those.
Yeah, I mean, many things went wrong that day, my friend.
All right, so you arrived at that, and you were like, this is the only thing that I can ask him." And so, what was you said a little bit about the interaction that you had after that, but what was like in the studio? Like, was everyone laughing, or was it kind of like a oh my god, or was it more playful?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, watching the video, it seems like there was. I mean, I definitely tried to keep a straight face because
Yeah.
I knew I was being a bit of a buffoon, and then I think he kind of took a little while to react, and when it maybe looked like he was going to smile and play along, that's when it seemed to me like everyone started kind of clapping and laughing.
Yeah.
Everyone, kind of at that moment, everyone was kind of in on the joke.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
gotta wait for the big guy to make his reaction before they decide if they're gonna
yeah,
laugh or not.
how dare you say that to him? But yeah, I thought he handled it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought should have been the right answer. I feel like he gave his opinion on it without being like, "Oh, like Matt LaFleur, are you kidding?"
He said everything with his response, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I Yeah, I mean, like I've seen a lot of stuff online talking about how like contestant dunks on Aaron Rodgers and contestant but I didn't see that at all as a dunking on
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I put him in a little bit of a awful
right.
position in national
Exactly.
TV.
Exactly.
I mean, I was not criticizing him at all.
No, 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 no. If anything, you were doing the opposite. Why not give Aaron Rodgers a shot with 4th down? And that was that was the last thing I wanted to talk to you about. I'm watching Get Up this morning on ESPN, and all the guys. You get Greenberg and Orlovsky and Ryan Clark and all those guys, and they're all sitting down there. And you have your own segment, and it's called like Packing It Up or Leader of the Pack or something, and it's all about
That's
how
a nice way to play.
Aaron Rodgers' response to your question signifies why he wants to leave Green Bay. Like, you've given these TV stations probably close to $1 million worth of content at this point if you pool together all the money that they make from those shows. So
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, you're probably their highest worth employee right now.
yeah. I guess it is kind of red meat. It's like what they wanted to talk about anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's looking for opportunities to talk about how A-Rod wants to get out of Green Bay.
And yeah, yeah, you're right. And I I saw myself on like the Today Show, and I was just like, what is going on?
What is going on? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or TMZ, or geez. I mean, the Field Yates tweet had, I don't know if you saw that, had millions of views.
Yeah, it did. It did.
I saw that and I was like, what have I done?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it was hilarious for real. Just as we finish up, absolutely hilarious. The Jeopardy show was great. I don't know how Aaron was behind the scenes, but it looked like he was doing a great job up there as far as
Yeah,
as far as
he
hosting is
came out
concerned.
came out before to talk to each of the contestants,
Yeah.
and after he
He was
talked
waiting
like
for you at the car with a bat.
yeah, he pulled me aside and was just like, how dare you put me in that position? Um, they edited everything down after, but
Yeah.
he talked to all of us after as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't just me, and it wasn't just about the football play. He was
Yeah.
good with everybody. I
Yeah,
mean, he
that's what
seemed
I've
like he
heard.
was having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, I don't know him, but I watch all of his interviews and stuff, and I don't know if you watch the McAfee show, but I think that's been like an awesome spot for him to just go and like
I
have
do.
an
I agree
actual
with you. I do
conversation.
watch McAfee, and I think him and Rodgers together, I think, bring
Yeah,
out the best in each other.
I agree. Yeah, you get some of that. I mean, he's so regarded as a diva in the NFL community. I mean, I really think it's just because he's been speaking the truth. Like, my future is out of my hands. I don't know if there's anything
I
more
mean,
true than
you
that.
say you say he's regarded as the diva in the NFL community. What exactly do you mean? Just mean in the media? Because I
Yeah,
feel yeah, I feel like that really started to come to a head when him and McCarthy were maybe,
yeah,
and
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
it
Yeah,
always seemed like the people on the McCarthy side were leaking that. So I was just
yeah.
curious.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right on. And yeah, it's good to hear that he was nice to all you guys. It's always nice to hear that about athletes and like super famous people that go and hang out and do those kind of things. And he seems to really enjoy the show. Like every time I've seen him, he's been like, "Oh, it's such a huge honor that you won't shut up about it."
Yeah, no,
um,
I mean, whether he's around people all the time,
right.
and I mean he knows how to talk to people, but yeah, his joy and love for Jeopardy, I I didn't question that before he got the gig, and I
Yeah.
certainly don't question it after being with him, going through the whole experience.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm sure you have about 7 gajillion other
I,
people
I
that are trying to talk to
have a
you.
few, my friend. Thanks for doing this. This is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, friend of the show, Scott Shewfelt. Thank you so much for joining us. And second take, we'll catch you guys